Hey, what is up, everybody? Michael Crump back here again, talking about the latest and the greatest in PlayStation homebrew news and much, much more. So, today I wanted to make a video that showed how you could dump your PlayStation 5 game disc onto your local hard disk drive. Now, there is a couple of things that you will want to do in order to get a successful dump. And also, not all game discs are the same. And I'll talk a bit about that as we kind of get into it. Now, another thing to note here is that once you make a game dump, you can't do anything with it yet. So, this is really more so for just archiving the contents of what's on a PlayStation 5 disc for future use. So obviously something may come out in the future, just like we kind of have fake packages right now with PlayStation 4 titles. We may have fake packages for PlayStation 5 in the future. Who knows? But it is a good idea to go ahead and take the contents of that disk and again get it on your local hard disk drive. So let's take a look at what's required to do that right now. Okay, so there is a couple of things you'll want to do first. The first is to go ahead and obviously insert your game disc into your PlayStation 5. As you can see by the game disc icon, it is showing right here for Panda Hero Remastered. And then you're going to want to actually start the game. So here we go. I'm starting the game. And by the way, I beat every single one of these just for you all. So there is the mountain, there is the underground, there is the sky, and there is the winter. And I'm kind of ashamed that I spent that time beating this game. But regardless, once you get the game inserted into your PlayStation 5 and running, press the PlayStation button. And I typically like just to look right here at the switcher application and just make sure that whatever game it is that you're running shows as active. And so now at this point, you will need to run the exploit in order to get an FTP server up and running. Now, there's a number of ways to do that. I have a couple of videos on my channel that shows how to do that through the network settings. I am going to use a more recent method, one that, again, I have another video on, and that is coming in and creating this notification here and then having this kind of debug kind of menu. So here I'm going to activate WebKit, and I'm going to do so by using just my own personal host. Again, you can use whatever host that you would like. Okay, and there is our F loader, and now we will inject the payload. And there we go. We've got our port and we've got our IP address. So let's head over to the PC and start dumping this disk. Okay, so I am using FileZilla and I have my PS5's IP address as well as the port number, and I'm going to press Quick Connect here. Now, there is this folder which is called Mount right here, and then there is this other folder which is just called Disk. And if we look at the contents of the disk, you can see there is an app, and there is the title ID of our PlayStation 5 game. And if we go into it, you'll see that there is the package file. There is also a BD folder, which has a param.json, a license folder, which has the RIF file, and then finally just the system update in case you are on a lower version of the PS5 system software required to actually play this game. Now, while you think that you can just come in here and maybe copy and paste these files from the disk folder onto your hard drive, there is actually a sandbox that you would probably want to pay more attention to first. Well, if we take a look at sandbox and then we take a look at PFSMNT, well, here is actually that package file that have been opened up, and from here we can actually see some of the contents of that game disk. Now, these are the ones that you would like to copy to your hard disk drive. And so we can see kind of in here, there is the app 0, and there is, again, the media file. There's metadata that's in here. There is the modules that's been opened up, plugins, and then there is a couple of other files and resources in here. And again, this game disc did have 52 levels, and you can see a bunch of the levels kind of located inside of there. SCE underscore module. These are some of the modules that make up this game. There is an SCE sys. So here is the trophy. There is a keystone right here, if you remember that from the PlayStation 4 days. And then there are these other two folders here, which is just the app0.nest, and then there is the patch0.union. I do not have any of the patches for this game. This is just still running the base game. But what you would want to do is to come up here to this folder right here and just simply drag and drop that to your desktop. Now, I did this a few days ago, actually here on the 12th. And here is what those look like. And if we take a look over here, you can obviously see that it made a direct backup of all of the files that was located just right over here. Now, keep in mind, there is some titles that has some issues with things such as language files. So Madden has multiple languages supported, whereas this game disc only had English supported, and that's the only language that was in the game disc. So everything backed up properly. But for some other titles, such as like Madden and other games, if you try to copy all those over, you might run into some situations where it doesn't copy over any of the other language files except for the language that you're currently running on the PlayStation 5. Now, the best way to kind of get around that is to come into this folder on your FTP and only select your English language or whatever language that your PlayStation 5 is on in order to copy those over successfully. But again, for a lot of the kind of lower budget, type of games, maybe like this one right here, these didn't have anything outside of just like English that's on there. Another good one that I could try would be this Far Cry 6 title. But anyway, I just wanted to show you, at least as of right now, this is one method that you can do in order to copy your game disc back over to your local hard disk drive. Anyway, I hope this helps, and thank you so very much for watching. Share this video. I would really appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one. Michael out.